Hello, I am in a box. Are you in a box? No, you're not in a box because you're watching the new American media. You're off. You have stopped going back to the drug dealer that is the mainstream media. No, there is nothing mainstream about them, anything more than the Federal Reserve being a federal agency. It's a private banking cartel. Did you know that? Yes, mainstream is not mainstream. Mainstream is lying legacy media under the Smith-Mundt Act. You are here at the New American Media. You've broken out of the box because you're sick of being lied to. We're going to find out what's going on in the world and discuss it, break it down, try to determine what's fact, what is trash. And today, of course, we have TV's Blake Walley with us. Blake joins us live from west of the Atlantic Ocean. Blake, how are you doing today?
Doing well. Interesting you mentioned the Fed, the Federal Reserve. One of the biggest critics is on my shirt today. Got a little Ron Paul.
Believe in freedom.
There you go.
Dr.
Ron Paul, the OG. Yep.
Yeah, see, Dr. Ron Paul versus Dr. Jill Biden. One of those sounds accurate. One of those sounds like overcompensation for sucking at life. But I digress. Yeah, Ron Paul, legendary. I mean, how many people got into, I don't know, snapped out of their delusions and into reality based on Dr. Ron Paul's warnings, on his lectures, on his teachings, on his life's work. God, Blake, can you think back to when Ron Paul hit the scene and what our national debt was at? Was it like 2 trillion, 3 trillion, 5 trillion, 10 trillion?
Oh, he's been on the Federal Reserve for a long time. Yeah, probably since early 80s.
Oh,
exactly. But yeah, he's been sounding the alarm. One of the only principled people in Congress all those years. You should have listened.
Yeah,
People are saying, yeah, all looking back, yeah, Ron Paul was right. Even when it wasn't popular.
WWRPD, what would Ron Paul do? I mean, I'm hearing now that like every month or two, every couple of months, the U.S. is adding $1 trillion in interest.
Every 100 days.
This is absolute get in a raft and get offshore because it's going to collapse. It's going to crumble. It's going to fall to pieces. There's no way that this can make any sense unless they're currently dragging an asteroid in that has all the palladium you could imagine. You know, here's 20 quadrillion tons of palladium. Debt paid. You know, like if they're not bringing in something like that, there's no way this gets fixed. I was watching, it's a new Guy Ritchie. I don't know if you have Netflix, but it's called The Gentleman. And it's a Guy Ritchie series. And anyway, one of the guys in the series makes a really bad bet for $4 million. And the bookies, the mobsters, essentially are adding $1 million a day. So it's like an interest. Like there's no way you can pay it. Like it must be paid in blood. There is no working mathematics, and I'm gonna reinvest, and I'll
make a lock, stock, and 2 smoking barrels. All right.
You know,
losing a poker game, same kind of script. I mean, I like the movies, so it's all good. I'll check it out.
Did you say Hunger Games as well as Lock, Stock, and 2 Smoking Barrels?
No, I know he did Snatch, and then the last one was Matthew McConaughey. I forget the name of it, but that was pretty good too.
I was definitely getting some Snatch vibes from The Gentleman, but of course it's because the guy inherits this big estate. They're growing weed in the basement, and like he doesn't know anything about it. It's a whole thing. It's interesting. I'm 3 episodes in. And I'm like, I'm enjoying this, and I'm getting ideas.
Which one is it on? Netflix?
On Netflix. It just came out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's pretty good. But yeah, all the thick accents. It really. Dags. Oh, yeah, dogs. Yeah, I like Dags. Yeah, I remember that. That was pretty good. All right. Well, follow Blake. He's on X at TV's Blake Walley, and his archive is thenextlevelnews.com should Elon Musk prove to be a Trojan horse, soaking up all of our tweets and all of our raw data because we think it's a safe site to use, and then one day they call in their bets, and the rug is pulled out. If that ever happens, find Blake. He's at thenextlevelnews.com. Of course, we're The New American Media on Patreon and thenewamericanmedia.com and all of the other places. Subscribe to the Agree to Disagree show on Spotify and find us on Rumble. please. Instagram, Facebook, all those places. So I want to talk about a whole bunch of stuff today. It's going to be a rockin' and rollin' show. We're going to ask if free speech has limitations, and is it a threat to democracy? I love these threats to democracy. It's like the new conspiracy theory. They fall in love with these phrases, and then they just use them so many times. You go, well, anyone using this phrase is a hack. I know they're a hack because they're getting a directive from upper management. They have to use these pre-approved phrases. I also want to touch and go on this. I didn't have anything in the stack, but I want to talk about the Haitian hellhole. Things have just fallen apart in Haiti. And if you haven't looked at a map recently, I mean, all the gangs coming in from Venezuela, the cannibals and stuff in Hawaii. I mean, this is just all pretty close to being off the shore of the Bahamas in Miami, Florida. And there's a lot of people emigrating here from these places. How concerned should we be? We're going to ask about Joe Scarborough. How concerned should he be about getting arrested? We're talking about the J6 committee. Didn't they just tell us the full and honest truth? So help them God. They gave proper explanation to all angles of the situation, or something else. We're going to ask about Joe Biden, of course. This is going to be the number one story of the day. A couple of different angles, but sometimes you really hope that karma catches up to a person. Maybe this is it for Crusty Dusty Joe. Let's jump into it. All right, Crusty Dusty Joe. He is in the limelight. Not only is he apologizing for calling an illegal an illegal. This is how Orwellian our society has become. This creep is apologizing, not to the family of Lake and Riley for allowing this to happen, for making this happen, for changing the Trump policies that would have prevented this from happening. No, he's apologizing for saying an illegal wasn't illegal. So we are in just next level Orwellian thought police, newspeak territory with this stuff. So let's talk about Joe Biden, Blake. Do you agree or disagree that Special Counsel Robert Hur is biased against Joe Biden? Agree or disagree?
I'm going to disagree. Now, I don't. To be fair, I don't have a whole lot of background on Robert Hur, but I'm assuming he actually went in there, apolitically to, just to do his job and to look into these classified documents that were over at the Bidens. And, unfortunately for a lot of leftists that are shrieking today, it appears that, yes, he mishandled classified documents. In fact, he shouldn't have even had them because he was the vice president. He didn't have that authority to have them. And he was a private citizen. And he was caught on tape, talking about how he had classified documents. And he had them scattered in multiple spots. So they just, really went after Trump at Mar-a-Lago, raided his home, went crazy. But, he had authority and he was the president, so he could have those. And yeah, maybe he stonewalled. That's another story. But they, they went after him hard. And now it's Joe Biden's turn. I was like, wait a second. Now he has them too. And he's got them in his garage. He's got them in his office. He's got them at his various other places. We can pull up the clip so I get them exactly right. So he did his job. And a lot of the Democrats don't like what the findings were because they always want to have the going on offense against Trump. Oh, my God. But now it's their turn. And so is he biased? Probably looks like it to them, but I don't have enough of a background to say that. And some people are saying, oh, he's just trying to get a job in the Trump administration. I also heard he resigned. And I think you even showed me a clip, like he resigned, and I'm guessing maybe that's because he was under pressure to say something that he maybe didn't want to say. And so he was perhaps threatened from the inside and decided, hey, I'm going to tell the truth no matter what. So I'll commend him on that, but maybe some people think that he's just trying to get a job with the Trump administration later. And maybe that's true, but I'm skeptical. So I'll say disagree.
Yeah. In, the resignation and the timing of said resignation, trying to unpack what all of that means exactly. But Hur has been on top of this, for the life of me. Like it's just, every single week I cover the news and, have for the past 13 years. And I just kind of toss my hands up, shrug the shoulders and go, make it make sense. Make this make sense. Hillary had a classified server in the closet of a New York condo. She had no business having a classified server in there. And it was getting hacked allegedly by China, et cetera, et cetera. Anybody that wanted it. It was free access, essentially. And that's what's going on with the Penn Biden Center over at the college. I mean, they've erased the visitor logs of the people who have been there because there's so many suspicious activity, allegedly, so many suspicious activity signatures that the Chi-Coms are in there digging through all the U.S. secrets. I mean, Joe Biden, the senator, had no business having classified documents. You damn well know Obama. I don't know. Did they ever dig into Obama and raid his house? Because they found illegal documents and yes, if you illegally have documents, you can call them illegal documents. You don't need to apologize for it. Mike Pence had documents. Because in a way, when you work in areas like this, on one hand, it's kind of like everybody has documents. Then on the other hand, if you're going to go after somebody, that means you have to go after everybody. Except that's not what they're doing, Blake. They don't care that Joe Biden has had documents since his time as a senator, when he had no business having them, and storing all of these next to a Corvette in a garage with a crackhead. God knows who he's had over that household for how long they'd take Hunter out and keep him occupied while they could sift through every single square inch of that place and make copies of whatever they wanted. The same thing that's allegedly happening at the Penn Biden Center. Biden wasn't allegedly president until 3 years ago. Everything until 3 years ago was illegally obtained and illegally stored and mishandled. You know, President Trump met with the team that handles the documents, the classified documents, and they said, "Oh, we want you to put another lock on your door." He's like, "What do you mean put another lock on my door? Like the whole complex has guards, and then this is guarded and this is locked, and you have to have a key to get up to this floor." He's like, "It's locked." They go, "No, we want another key on your door." All right, so he puts another key on the door, another locked apparatus on the door to protect the documents. Then they raided him after that. You know, it just appears to be nothing but a witch hunt, whereas people like Hillary and Biden, who should have been thrown to the wolves by now, they're getting protected. They're getting protected while they make all of this information vulnerable to our enemies, while Biden is letting our enemies into this country. It's a complete overthrow attempt of this nation from the Hillary Clintons and the Obamas and the Bidens. I don't know how anyone else could see this information and reach any other conclusion. So if they're saying Hur is biased because he's coming down on Biden, well, how could you look at this and reach any other conclusion? Then it was reckless and probably treasonous. That's how I'm looking at it. I don't know how anyone could look at the data and come to any other conclusion.
And then how do they spin that as like, you know, Trump's still the bad guy from Mar-a-Lago? It's amazing. But just to go to this post here from Kenoka the Great here, it says the classified documents were found at, as you said, Brian, Penn Biden Center.
Yep.
They were found in Biden's garage in Wilmington, Delaware. They were found in his basement den, in the office, in the third floor den, at the University of Delaware, and the Biden Institute. He had unauthorized possession of classified documents that were related to national defense. And he told his ghostwriter on audio, this is February 16th, 2017, that he had just found all of his classified stuff downstairs. So, and even read aloud from a classified passage. You totally careless, did not care. So it's
well, there's careless, and there's careless, there's not caring, and then there's taking the bribe, because Biden's elbows deep with roughly 25 shell companies allegedly. Some of the reports say that his granddaughters are cutting checks to pay him and his family. There is nothing legitimate about what's going on. He's on camera bragging about taking out the special prosecutor. Guess where? Out of all the countries in the world, are there any countries that are in the news right now? Oh yeah, Ukraine. So He's on camera bragging about firing the special prosecutor who's found all of this corruption, bribery, blackmail, and payoffs. So we know that this guy is obtaining money like a mobster, allegedly. Then he's routing it around to try to play the shell game so people can't keep track of it and you can money launder it, like everything is allegedly doing in Ukraine. And, you know, that's where Hur comes in. It's obvious to look at this stuff and see what the situation is. They're saying that Hur said they identified evidence that Biden willfully retained classified materials at the end of his vice presidency when he was a private citizen. You know, so like vice presidents don't have the same what am I not classifications. You know, they don't have access to the same stuff. Whereas President Trump, he's like, yeah, they spied on me with the FISA campaigns. They rigged Russiagate against me. They rigged me here. They rigged this situation. They framed me here, and I'm declassifying all of it. He said that on multiple occasions. It's all declassified. If you don't like it, you can go pound sand. But he was framed by all of these deep state operatives. He declassified all of it. And allegedly, that's what they're terrified about finding. They're freaking out trying to find, I guess there's a binder that has every one of these deep state actors dead to rights, and they can't locate it in their records. They think they know. These are the stories coming out. I mean, we'll see how it shakes out. But allegedly, Trump left with the folder that he declassified. But they can't find what they thought was the only copy, and they're freaking out because it's going to bust every one of them, Blake. And if they are committing treason to stage a coup to overthrow the president of the United States, and by the way, 51 intelligence officials lying about the Hunter Biden laptop just to try to get him across the finish line and rig the 2020 campaign against President Trump, this is firing squad material. This is treason of the highest order. And I don't know if that's what your Scarborough story later, that he's, you know, he should be worried about getting arrested or worse. I don't know if that's related to this, but like all of the willing co-conspirators in the lying legacy media, as well as the deep state operatives at the CIA and wherever, and on top of all the Democrats, there's one thing to play politics and to talk trash and, oh, Romney had a dog on his car when he moved down the road 15 minutes. He said binders full of women. Like there's dumb politics. And then there's rigging the election, which is what they have all done. On every regard, they fortified the 2020 election. By the way, go to cisa.gov/rumor control because they want you to hear that there are countervailing views saying that was the only legitimate, untampered with election in the history of election. According to Democrats, every time a Republican wins, it's shady, it's suspicious, we can't trust the count, the voting machines, they're untrustworthy, we don't believe it. Democrats say that anytime a Republican wins, but if a Republican says that about an election, you know, there's something wrong with them, according to cisa.gov/rumor control. So go check that out. But yeah, this is huge news, Blake. This is huge news. And I think her resigning had something to do with the logistics of, you know, I'm not even going to comment on it. It's all kind of just happening as, you know, as today unfolds. But it's very important. I see it here on C-SPAN 3. I mean, how could it not be on C-SPAN 1? But I mean, where else do we take this story, Blake? What else should we know here, knowing what documents Hillary had and Biden had, and yet Trump's the only one they go after?
Yeah, it's a double standard, and now it's kind of blowing up on them. And now they're going to have to be they get to be held account too. So there it is. Now we're just kind of watching them squirm. We're watching, you know, Ted Lieu out there not talking about this. He's just, you know, trying to go after Trump again, or Adam Schiff. We had a few clips to play. I don't know how much. We don't have a ton of time here, but yeah, this is all going down this morning.
Okay, go to it. Yeah, whatever you got. Let's hear the clips. Let's watch it roll.
Okay.
My team and I conducted a thorough, independent investigation. Yes. We identified evidence that the president willfully retained classified materials after the end of his vice presidency when he was a private citizen. This evidence included an audio-recorded conversation during which Mr. Biden told his ghostwriter that he had, quote, just found all the classified stuff downstairs, end quote. When Mr. Biden said this, he was a private citizen speaking to his ghostwriter in his private rental home in Virginia. My team and I conducted a thorough, independent investigation.
Well, that's another one.
We identified evidence.
And it was your obligation to follow that
retained
policy in this
classified
report.
There we go. We had two playing at the same time. Okay. Now I have zero playing.
Now you have zero playing. Okay.
Now yes, it went silent. So
okay.
whatever
Yeah, I just paused it.
Video,
yeah, it does that loop thing, so I'd make sure I was on the right tab. But then, yeah, we're going to go a little back and forth, I suppose, because here's another clip with Adam Schiff. He's freaking out after they're declaring Biden unfit for office in the DOJ report. And, of course, I can also go back to this clip here talking about how we found all of these documents. So for Trump, they made it look like, they raided his home, went through, Melania's clothes, it over and beyond with all the armed agents digging through, finding everything, and then trying to set up these little photo ops of acting like he had his documents just like, strewn all over the office.
Just think about that for a second. Yeah, what is their story? President Trump, who was president and declassified all this stuff, he was talking to a guy about a submarine. What kind of stupid cover story is this? Meanwhile, Blake, imagine how violated you would feel if the feds busted into your house, kept you out of there, and started sniffing the underwear of one of your family members. What in the world were they going through Melania's stuff for, if not to try it on? What's that guy, that bald guy that dresses up and was stealing all the luggage?
Oh, I forget. Yeah, I know you're talking about. Part of that Biden administration. They got rid of him.
Dude.
I think they finally had to. Yeah, like creepo. Yeah, he's dressed up in like satanic stuff and with like weird dog fetish stuff. He was just a disturbed individual.
Yeah, so maybe that type of person working in the Obama-Biden government is going through the Melania underwear drawer, sniffing them and wearing them and taking them. How gross is that? Like, if you're looking for documents, you don't look for them inside the garter belt of the hottest first lady of all time. That is gross. These people are vile. And they never did that to Hillary. They never did that to the Secretary of State that went around to other countries. Now, I'm not saying Gaddafi's a great guy, but I am saying that he hadn't been a problem in the United States in decades. And he was allegedly trying to get their country's currency on track using gold back. He was trying to build a water well project across Africa to bring wealth and prosperity and health and opportunity to the people of that continent. And so we came, we saw, he died, says Hillary. A vile, demonic, and what I want to touch and go on the Haiti story because Hillary's neck deep in that as well. But that lady had no classification. She was not president of the United States, thankfully. And she had private servers that were allegedly being hacked by all of our greatest adversaries. So, whether they buy the artwork of Hunter Biden, they buy 20 million copies of your hardcover book, there's ways to money launder. And then they just say, well, here's what I need. I need you to just run this server. I'm going to set it up. I just want your emails off your BlackBerry to go in duplicate. I want to have an easy connection with. Yeah, but that's a little unstable. Yeah, well, we did buy 20 million copies of your stupid book. Takes a village or some shit. So we're going to need you to go ahead and do that. And they just say, okay. And then it's like these are permanent honey traps, permanent honey pots. These are permanent spider webs that are set up by either the deep state or the mob or global nefarious interests that are trying to get at United States secrets. Nobody went after Hillary. Nobody went after Hillary ever. And I can't find a way to make that make sense, Blake.
No, it doesn't. The deep state has been in control, and it's the uniparty. And, today was an uncomfortable day for them because they just want to make it sound like it's just Trump and MAGA that are the problem. But it's clearly they're the ones that have been lying to the American people for a long time, and it's the double standard. So whatever you think about Trump and the Mar-a-Lago and his handling of classified documents, it's clear that whatever Biden did was 100 times worse. If it's more than that, because he never should have had him in the first place, because he wasn't authorized. At least Trump was. I think you're right, Brian. There's something more to that. They are panicking that Trump's got the goods on him. They have everything, and they're afraid of what he might have and how it can be used against him. Huh?
Yeah, and the part I don't understand is that Trump has been saying he has the dirt on him for 4 years. Why has nothing happened? Oh, there's a plan that needs to be trusted. We all know everything we've been talking about for 6 years happens 4 years later. Everything we've been talking about for 3 years happens 3 years. Like, there are very few stories that we have covered and have later found out we were completely lied to by Pelosi, completely lied to about Schiff, by Schiff, or by Kinzinger, or by Cheney. Like the leftist haters, they believe things that are not true and never were true. They're never really told when these stories are proven to be false. But can you think of a single story, Blakenstein, a single story that we have been fairly certain was a real story that subsequently turned out to be, a nothing burger or misrepresentation or something like that? Is there a handful of those? Because on the other side, the list goes up to the moon. You could stack phone books, each phone book being an issue. You could go to the moon and back with all of the lies that they've lapped up and slurped up from the lying legacy media and the deep state. Whereas it's like everything we've been talking about seems to come true. Am I forgetting a couple big ones?
No, you got it. Yeah, it's enough. It's been a one-sided affair for many years. And even when Trump was in office, all they did was go after him for supposedly being a Russian agent, which turned out to be completely false. So it was just a big witch hunt, fishing expedition, and that blew up too. And then they impeached him twice. And then we had this election, which many people were skeptical of the results. And now we've got old Joe in there. And Joe is, again, however you think of Trump, Joe Biden is 100 times more corrupt, at least.
And trying to parse this all out and piece this all together, parse it out, piece it together. Since 2014, when Biden overthrew the leaders in Ukraine and put the puppet regime in there, it's what the U.S. has been allegedly doing all across the planet since the country was started, which is why so many people dislike the United States. But since 2014, they've been trying to pin the tail on Russia and frame them to get them dragged into a world war. It's like they have these strategies in place and they don't care what the reality is. They don't care what the situation actually is. It just cares. They only seem to care about, we've already game planned this. We've war gamed this. That's what I was looking for. And in the absence of there being a reason to do this, we're going to do it because it's on the playbook. It's like scripting your first 20 plays in the NFL or first 10 plays. The Cleveland Browns have been notoriously good on the first drive and then trash after. And then it kind of fall off and then kind of come back in the second half. Like when it's scripted, they're on point. But when it goes to freeform, it just falls apart. But yeah, I mean, Russian asset, Putin puppet, P-tapes. It's like it was all in furtherance to get our troops and our treasure and our blood spilled and wasted in Ukraine, Russia over nothing that's any of our damned business. Had NATO not attacked, threatened the attack through Ukraine, I mean, most sources that follow the situation say Russia would have never done anything. Well, if you don't stop them now, they're going to go in. They're going to take the Czech Republic. They're going to take Austria and Belgrade and Bulgaria and then France and then the world. And you're like, based on what? Based on what? Based on what? I beg of you to help illuminate the situation to silly old me. Why is this worth our blood and treasure? It's not. And it's all a scam, Blake. Like you said, it's, pin the tail on Russia. So So what's Matt Gaetz got to say about this?
I think we'll definitely watch a clip here as he got his turn. Let's check part of it out.
8th, the White House. Question, Mr. President, why did you share classified information with your ghostwriter? The President, I did not share classified information. I did not share it. I guarantee I did not. That's not true, is it, Mr. Hur?
That is inconsistent with the findings based on the evidence in my report.
Yes, it's a lie. It's just what regular people would say, right? Yeah, all right. So the next one. And all the stuff that was in my home was in filing cabinets that were either locked or able to be locked. That wasn't true either, was it?
That was inconsistent with the findings of our investigation.
Another lie, people might say, right? Because what you put in your report was among the places Mr. Biden's lawyers found classified documents in the garage was a damaged open box. So here's what I'm understanding, right? As Mr. Armstrong laid out, you find in your report that the elements of a federal criminal violation are met, but then you apply this senile cooperator theory that because Joe Biden cooperated and the elevator doesn't go to the top floor, you don't think you get a conviction. And I actually think you get to the right answer in that. I don't think Biden should have been charged. Don't think Trump should have been charged. But under like the senile cooperator theory, isn't it frustrating that Biden continues to go out and lie about the basic facts of the report that lay out a federal criminal violation?
Congressman, I need to disagree with at least one thing that you said, which is that I found that all of the elements were met. One of the elements of the relevant mishandling statute is the intent element, and what my report reflects is just on the evidence, I would not be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt to a jury that that intent element had been met.
Right, but the reason you have that doubt is the senile cooperator theory. The fact that Joe Biden is so inept in responding that you can't prove the intent, which again, I don't quibble with that conclusion, but it's frustrating to be like, oh, well, this guy's not getting treated the same way as Trump because the elevator's not going to the top floor, so we can't prove intent. While at the same time, Biden goes out there at the White House and says, well, you know, he just blatantly lies. And what I'm trying to figure out is whether or not Biden's lying because he's still so senile, he hasn't read your report, or whether it's a little craftier and a little more devious and perhaps a little more intentional.
Anyway, yeah, there we go. So now we're caught in the, did Biden lie or was he just too senile? But either way, he would be unfit to be president.
Mr. Biden, did you lie then or are you lying now?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a perfect cross-examination tactic.
All right, well, it's also a transition to another topic.
Yeah, let's go. Which one?
Joe Biden lied about his handling of topics.
Yeah, man.
Classified documents, yes. Or he's too senile. He doesn't remember. So here it goes. Special Counsel Robert Hur, he testified about the stolen classified documents scandal based off of his report last month, 345 pages that were scattered all over his place in damaged cardboard boxes and unlocked drawers, also in the garage and basement den. Here's a picture. I guess this is his garage. And here is where he just had classified documents laying around in his garage that he never should have had, and he wasn't doing anything to keep them secured. It's just wide open.
And tell me why that's okay. Like I beg of Bill Maher or Rachel Maddow to explain to me why that's okay. And like Matt Gaetz was saying, he's like, well, maybe they should have both been okay. Like if you're going after Trump, you definitely have to tell me how you imprisoned Hillary Clinton. And if you can't, then there really is nothing to do with Trump here. He was the only one who actually had the authority to have this stuff. And it was under lock and key, double lock and key after an inspection. It's just pure insanity, sir. Pure insanity.
Right. So I haven't seen this clip yet, but Jim Jordan is usually entertaining. We can check this part of us out.
What did that ghostwriter do with the information Joe Biden shared with him on his laptop? What did he do after you were named special counsel?
Chairman, if you're referring to the audio recordings that Mr. Zwanitzer created of his conversations with
exactly
Mr. Biden,
what I'm referring to.
He he slid, if I remember correctly, he slid those files into his recycle bin on his computer.
Tried to destroy the evidence, didn't he?
Correct.
Okay.
I thought he was
What
going to
else do we
slide
have?
into somebody's DMs. I thought he was going to say, yes, Biden slid into his DMs. That would have broke my brain to hear that Biden's sliding into DMs. But yeah. Well, what do they say? They say a lot of those actions that's how you find evidence of complicity and intent. You know, they usually say it's the cover up that gets you. And doing certain things prove that you weren't supposed to have done the first thing that led you to do the second thing to kind of play cleanup afterward. Once again, another theme in The Gentleman on Netflix, which I'm enjoying. Two episodes in, I'm enjoying. But yes, bless his feeble heart. Yeah. Once again, make it make sense how a guy too inept to stand trial for his dereliction of duty and treason and mishandling of documents, you know, he's not ready for prime time on those regards, but he should totally be handling the nuclear football and mismanaging the invasion at our southern border. Okay, cool story.
Right. Well, here's Adam Schiff desperately trying to spin in his lines of questioning. We'll see how these exchanges. I got a couple quick exchanges. We'll see how it goes.
That's the Honorable Adam Schiff, by the way.
Right. Honorable Adam Schiff. Here we go. Uh-oh. Maybe. I'm going to have to refresh this. Let's try this again.
Kenneth says he's sliding a Biden. Sliding a Biden.
Really? They're not going to let me do this?
No audio this time, unfortunately.
Yep. It seems to be having a glitch.
What's Pencil Neck up to? What did they say it's about? What's the?
How about this one?
Try this.
Is this a Twitter thing?
It's not a me thing. I don't know.
That's part of the reason I pulled up that Gateway Pundit articles, because I could not. All of a sudden, these two glitched out.
Weird.
That's unfortunate.
You need to try to sign out, sign back in. You want to send it to me? I don't know. I'll tell you what. While you try to click and try to refresh that, let me just pull this one up while you do that. This is a little touch and go story. I didn't have too much on. It's not in the stack, but I do want to address it. This could have been the lead story, honestly, because this is so just red flags everywhere. This is from Colin Rugg on Twitter or on X. Make sure you're following us at the New American Media at American_media_ and Blake at TV's Blake Walley. From Colin Rugg, he says, new 62-year-old Boeing whistleblower John Barnett found dead in his truck after he didn't show up for a legal interview linked to a case against Boeing. Barnett worked for Boeing for 32 years and retired in 2017. After retiring, Barnett spoke out about how Boeing was cutting corners on their airplanes. Just days before his death, Barnett gave evidence in a lawsuit against Boeing. Barnett accused Boeing of deliberately fitting substandard parts on their aircraft. He also accused Boeing of having faulty oxygen systems, saying 1 in 4 breathing masks would not work in an emergency situation. Barnett said new plane builds were rushed. When he brought his concerns forward, they were allegedly ignored by the company. When he died, Barnett was in Charleston for interviews linked to a case against Boeing. He was supposed to come back for more questioning on Saturday, but did not show up. Inquiries were made to his hotel, where Barnett was found dead in his car in the parking lot. Police are investigating Barnett's death, but say he died from a self-inflicted wound. And then below is a recent interview Barnett had with TMZ, which is totally normal. I'll pause right there, but I did want to touch on that for everybody to do some more research on this. I mean, it seems ripped from a Hollywood movie, blatant. And
we're living in a Hollywood movie.
Yeah, the one with Amy Schumer, train wreck.
Right, and we didn't have a lot of time today, so I kind of pulled that one off the stack. But yeah, definitely that deserves a mention of that. A very suspicious and timely death from that man who was about to blow the whistle on Boeing after they're already in trouble and under scrutiny.
Yeah, they've been having a lot of issues on their planes.
They're very powerful, these big contractors. So I'm sure they got fixers on the payroll who can take care of that and make it look like a suicide. Or maybe it was, but I don't know. I kind of doubt it. Well,
maybe
anyway.
it was. Kenneth asks, what's going on? Hey, what's going on? All right, here's Robert Hur bodying Adam Schiff in his pencil neck watermelon.
His attorney falsely represented the FBI and grand have documents called for by the grand jury subpoena. You didn't find anything like that with respect to Mr. Biden, did you?
Congressman, I do not have the Trump indictment in front of me, but I need to address something that you said in your prior question. What you are suggesting is that I needed to provide a different version of my report that would be fit for public release. That is nowhere in the rules. I was to prepare a confidential report that was comprehensive and thorough of an
What is in the rules? His attorney.
There.
He looked legitimately spooked because he can't, control the narrative. He wants to make sure that these people are under control. But if that guy resigned, then he's not beholden to the Department of Justice, and he can say what he wants and not have to deal with any kind of internal retaliation.
Well, Patriotic Suzanne says it great. She says, how is Russian hoaxer and liar Adam Schiff still allowed to be on a committee? For the life of me, right. I don't understand it.
Yeah, he was censured. He should be removed from all of that stuff. He has no business being up there. And I can't believe he's going to be like the win Senate seat in California. It's crazy.
He's up against what? Steve Garvey?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to win that. He has to win that. It doesn't matter who you vote for. It matters who counts the votes. Right. I really do suspect that big blue places have it just so on lockdown. I just can't imagine people voting for the wrong people over and over and over, especially when it's proven that these people are not doing anything to help you, to help your lot in life. It's plain to see, says Kenneth. Thank you for that one. All right, here's this next one. This is another Robert Hur. Then we'll bounce off of this. Here we go.
So wish to respond to that final question?
Yes, Congressman, what you are suggesting is that I shape, sanitize, omit portions of my reasoning and explanation of the Attorney General for political reasons.
No, I suggest that you not shape your report for political reasons, which is what you did.
That did not happen, Congressman. That did not happen.
So wish to respond?
There you go. That did not happen.
I don't like it when they can't control the narrative.
No, they've definitely.
Which funny. We can probably switch subject. Brian, I do not have a lot of time here, so let me make a quick transition here. Okay, Adam Schiff is an honorable man and deserves the Senate seat.
Now, please, he needs to be in jail.
Yeah, and somebody who's censured and spent, over how many years perpetuating this Russian hoax that Trump was compromised has no business being up on Capitol Hill and asking any questions or trying to coerce this guy to play ball on his terms. And he's already saying he hopes the intel community will hide info from Trump if he's elected. So he's got no business there to talk about that. But I also want to move into these new revelations with the J6 committee. And they're hiding troves of records and testimony undermining Democrat conspiracies. So House investigators found that the J6 committee's deleted troves of information included hundreds of video recordings. So Representative Barry Loudermilk revealed gross abuses by the Democrats' partisan select committee in a new report. And his committee on House Administrations and Oversight spent the year reviewing the work of the select committee led by then Representative Committee Vice Chair Liz Cheney, found that the J6 probe covered up critical evidence that undermined the Democrats' narrative amid the 22 midterms. So, with former Speaker Nancy Pelosi promoting hearsay and cherry-picking information to promote its political goal and legislatively prosecute former President Donald Trump. So, and they also had the cover up moving on, including people here just contradict some of the crazy testimony that came out, because their surprise star witness Cassidy Hutchinson was testified that President Trump tried to hijack the presidential limousine to try to drive himself to the Capitol. And some of this testimony from other people that were contradicting this, including an honorable guy like this man Ornato, wanted to go on record under oath to say that this was BS. It never took place, but they omitted that evidence. And they also colluded with Fannie Willis, the Georgia prosecutor. So yeah, there's collusion, all right, but it's on the Democrat side. So now she's currently under investigation for hiring a special prosecutor with which she had a romantic relationship. But yeah, the J6 committee is suppressing evidence, and it exonerates Trump from the whole insurrection narrative that they try to paint it on. And they were there. That this man, I believe it's Ornato here, is saying he was present when Donald Trump authorized 10,000 National Guard troops before January 6th, and that was in the Oval Office. And they did not let that happen. They wanted these people to go out of control and demonize Trump and MAGA from ever threatening them again. So it's pretty amazing. Actually, this is from Kash Patel, who witnessed this. So he authorized 10,000 National Guard troops. Told he was there with the Secretary of Defense, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Chief of Staff to President Trump, many present. They were trying to get that, and they talked to D.C. Mayor Bowser's office and the Capitol Police. But then Liz Cheney and these people running this unselect committee, as they say, they were suppressing evidence that not only corroborates the truth about Trump's authorization of National Guard, but completely exonerates Trump from their ginned up charge of insurrection. So they've got
not once did President Trump direct his supporters to go to the Capitol and by any means necessary drag out the people responsible. And we're like, not a single time did President Trump encourage his people to do what they've been trying to frame him for 3 years. Not once. We were there. We documented it. It didn't happen at all. It was a protest. It was a mostly peaceful but fiery protest, just like they said about BLM, except far fewer people died. There were a couple of people who passed days later, and only one shot was fired. That's when a Capitol police officer shot and killed an unarmed veteran mother of another race. But somehow that didn't become nationwide news. It just didn't fit the agenda, the narrative. Yeah, Liz Cheney, collusion, election interference, framing, a coup. There's a million charges she should be charged with. Her, and it was Pelosi and Bowser that repeatedly refused the calls, President Trump's calls for 10,000 National Guard troops. We've been saying that for years. Where is the justice for her, for Muriel Bowser or for Nancy Pelosi? They are the ones with the blood on their hands from the couple of officers, the injuries that day. They're the ones. This could have all been avoided, except this was their plan. This is why Nancy Pelosi had her daughter there filming a documentary. Huh. Go figure.
Yeah, and she was even admitted that it wasn't an insurrection. She was laughing about that. Yeah, hanging out with the Proud Boys. I mean, it was ridiculous the way that they framed this whole thing. It was all a big scam.
Absurd.
Yeah.
Frankie's saying, I remember I was watching you guys that day. Thanks for watching, Frankie. Keep watching in the future. All right. What else you got for us? I know time is short here.
We can just get into a few other quick hitters, and then I gotta go. So let's okay. What do we got?
I was just going to add, by the way, to the people who watch MSNBC or CNN, that story that just came up about the January 6th committee hiding evidence to frame Trump for insurrection, this could easily be a number one topic on today's show. It really could. This is groundbreaking. Holy crap, this should be your frying pan to the face moment where you get the little cartoon birdies spinning around, flying in a circle around your head. But like I said, we've been covering this for years. If you want the reality, find the New American Media. If you want to be lied to like you're a nitwit, keep watching the Scarboroughs. Keep watching the Fox News. Keep watching CNN. Go for it, I guess. But I mean, Blake and I were talking about splicing this show out into tiny segments, 5-10 minute segments of each topic. I mean, that one topic should be a standalone because it's crucial. They've been lying to you nonstop for 3 years after trying to frame him. We know it. So it's just kind of like blasé to us. It's just whatever, on to the next thing. But it's like, holy crap, that was another main headline story that could have been the whole topic for today's entire show. It's just, we're tired of saying it. We've said it every damn show we've done, it seems like, for the past year and a half. So anyway, I digress. What do you got about Scarborough? He's made it 2 in a row on our show, right? 2 weeks in a row or back-to-back episodes?
Yeah, he's in a recent episode. Yeah, he's punching bag. Yeah, he was, praising Biden that he was at the top of his game and it was ridiculous. And he was even going on record, calling it out. And of course, people were laughing at that. And now he's worried that Trump is going to start arresting journalists, which is odd because it seems like it's the other way around, and that this administration is actually targeting journalists. So here we go. Joe Scarborough, who last week claimed that Joe Biden is cognitively better than he's ever been, torched on X after declaring that Trump will, if elected, arrest journalists. So let's.
Maybe he just means that Biden has never been good, and he's actually not good now also, but he's slightly less bad than always.
Right.
I don't think that's what it means.
Right, but people were calling this out. Hey, Joe, who is currently running the Department of Justice, which recently perp-walked a Blaze TV journalist for covering January 6th. That was Steve Baker, who was, Blaze journalist, was taken out, arrested. And I believe they have other ones. We got Catherine Herridge, who was chilled, taken out of CBS. They even were taking their material and trying to maybe look and find out who her sources were. That's terrifying. And then you've got, Obama and Biden were spying on jailing journalists. And so, Owen Schroyer of InfoWars, of course, the Blaze's Steve Baker. So,
WikiLeaks pushing to have the WikiLeaks guy extradited.
Yeah, Assange.
Yeah.
And there's another one here. Of course, they've gone after Project Veritas. They've raided James O'Keefe.
Oh, is that because Ashley Biden's diary talks about how creepy Biden was and inappropriately showering with her, and she would wait until really weird hours at night where she could have a little bit of alone time where she wouldn't expect him to walk in and abuse her? Oh, yeah. Go after the person telling you about the creep. Don't go after the creep. That's how upside down everything has become, Blake. And that none of that is to mention the death of American journalist Gonzalo Lira in Ukraine.
Yeah, they let him die in a Ukrainian prison, getting tortured and dying of pneumonia. Could have been saved with one simple phone call, which should have been done to any other journalist, except when they're embarrassing the administration. So hopefully Victoria Nuland will get her day in court at The Hague and maybe, face justice. Also, we have Matt Taibbi was the IRS went to his home on the same day that he was in testimony in Congress.
That's right.
Talking about the deep state infiltrating Twitter.
Was that the day that Ford was filming him? I know Ford. Yeah, they've worked on some stuff, and it was that day that he was with him, and they got raided that day. What a crock, man! What a mess.
Yeah. So who is Joe Scarborough talking about? Has he mentioned any of these other people? Probably not. But you know what? I actually think that these people, maybe they deserve it. After they perpetuated all these lies, covered up scandals, brainwashed the American people. Yeah, I think that people as a right now. what these journalists were up to, and maybe they will want these guys arrested. I would. If these people lied to me all those years and made me believe in stuff that wasn't true just so they could push a political agenda, yeah, maybe they deserved some retaliation at some point. So maybe he should be worried. I think that a lot of these people are panicking because they are worried at some point they're going to have to face justice for all the damage that they've caused for years. And Brian, I really have to run. I really have to go here. I'm already past my time, but I will just say on another note, quick, the last topic that I had, and you can take wherever and cover anything else, but just so that we have all the headlines covered, was MSNBC openly attacking the First Amendment, saying the free speech leaves American democracy vulnerable. And it was this Karen, Barbara McQuaid, who was on the Rachel Maddow show. I'll just pull it up. I guess she's written a book. It's a New York Times bestseller, How Disinformation is Sabotaging America, The Attack from Within. And, they want to control the narrative so that they can make you believe that they're BS. But it turns out they're the ones that have been pushing it. And here's Karen McQuaid here. Barbara says she's at the professor at the University of Michigan. And, she's putting this forward. So she was appointed by President Barack Obama, first woman to serve in the position, blah, blah, blah. But then now she's making her little tour, making her rounds with the media and worried about misinformation, or at least her version of it, and that the freedom of speech is a threat to democracy. So these people are unhinged. They're anti-American, and we should be able to debate all issues, and we should be able to prove that all in the public eye or in the court or what have you. But they don't want that. They just want themselves to be in charge, and they're threatened by other information that contradicts what they're pushing, whether they knew it or not, that it's perhaps they're the ones spreading misinformation. But anyway, Brian, I got to go. Thank you, everybody. I will look forward to the next show, perhaps Thursday night. I don't know. We'll figure it out soon. But thank you so much for your support. Love you guys. Gonna run. Thanks, Brian. Take care.
Take care, Blake. Thank you. Follow him at TV's Blake Walley on X and go to thenextlevelnews.com. Yes, this was a high and tight show today, packing in the most information possible in 60 minutes. We got one more story I want to get to. And yes, we kind of right on the heels of a couple of marathon episodes. If you were with us last week, we did a 5-hour State of the Union live stream. It was awesome. We had the most guests ever. We had like 4 people in the room at once, reacting to the debate, to the State of the Union, and then the reaction from the Republicans, their response, and then Trump's response to it. And it was an awesome night, 5 hours. So we'll do different variety of lengths of shows. But today's going to be a quick one for a multitude of reasons. But I do want to get into this. Agree or disagree that Americans should worry about Hillary's Haitian hellhole dumping illegals into the U.S.? Agree or disagree that Americans should worry about Hillary's Haitian hellhole dumping illegals into the U.S.? I'm going to agree that this is very dangerous. This one says from MJ Truth Ultra. And there it is, folks. Department of Defense officials say they're alerted about. Well, here, let's just go play. Let's play. What's up? Are we gonna get the volume?
It's telling, right? We can't really identify them because the gangs are in charge. The government has been thrown out, and as a Florida man, I'm deeply concerned about this wave of people that we're about to have, that we are having, coming from Haiti, and it will accelerate because I've gone to Opelika and I've spent time with the folks that are engaged in Operation Vigilant Sentry, and they say the #1 push factor that drives these Haitians into Broward County, Palm Beach County, where they don't disperse throughout the Florida, that driving factor is the deterioration of conditions in Haiti. So what are we doing to prepare for that wave and to ensure that these people are not paroled into the United States, as the administration has done with people on the southern border, but instead are repatriated back at the dock at Port-au-Prince?
Go ahead. Congressman, we're doing a number of things to ensure that we're keeping track of the situation and we're prepared. At the moment, we have not yet seen large numbers, what we would characterize as a maritime mass migration, but we are alert to that.
Mass migration, though.
We are alert to that possibility. I think you're right. The driving conditions in Haiti could very well press more people. So we've recently approved some additional assistance that we can provide to the Coast Guard. I think that has now fully been approved. We'll be providing notifications if we haven't already to provide additional shipboard assistance.
Because I've talked to the Coast Guard, and what they say would really support them would be more naval vessels, would be DOD support. And because I think you correctly said that there is an anticipated mass migration here, there are specific legal authorities that we can access that I would implore you to access. Specifically, George W. Bush signed Executive Order 13276. And in that executive order, there is the ability for any president to designate an anticipated mass migration and then get gray hull naval vessels into the Straits of Florida to deter that migration and then to repatriate those people before they get to Florida.
Right? I mean, this is what has been needed. This remain in Mexico stuff. We've needed to have battalions of people stopping groups from entering. You know, it was the Stay in Mexico program. You want to come up? Oh, well, blah, 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 and I want to seek asylum. All right, well, you know, here you go. You're staying on your side. You knock on my door. You don't just walk in, and then we figure out who you are later. You wait on the outside until I decide to answer that door. If you break in, you're an invader. But Department of Defense officials saying they're alerted about potential mass migration from Haiti. Is it a coincidence that 4,000 prison inmates literally just escaped in Haiti? Where do you think they're headed? By the way, as you look here, oh, I might have taken that screen off. Let me put the screen back and share that for you. But yeah, this is Hillary's Haitian hellhole. There she is, everybody. Remember this? Oh my goodness. That doesn't look like her at all. Wow. Look at that photo. George Soros. George Soros and Hillary Clinton having these Haitians dancing for him. Here, let's just play this thing. What a weird... Oh, I still don't have it up on the screen. Sorry, I got to double click this. So with everything going on in Haiti, it's once again, think back to Victoria Nuland in 2014. Then look a decade later. So now here's Hillary in 98. That's a lot longer ago, but it also, they had their big earthquake in 2010, maybe? I forget exactly, but Dom Lucree, breaker of narrative, says exclusive. On November 21, 98, Hillary Clinton took George Soros to Haiti to review the infrastructure, culture, and population of Haitian communities to help him decide where he wanted to invest his money. Today, Haitians are blaming George Soros and Hillary Clinton for the state of Haiti and for the CIA getting their former president, Jovenel Moïse, assassinated. Oh, that's right. I do remember this story now. God, that was 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago now. Haitian President Jovenel Moïse assassinated on 7th of July, 2021 in his home in Port-au-Prince to control their government. I mean, isn't that exactly, pretty close to exactly what happened with Zelensky in Ukraine? We're currently seeing a revolution in Haiti led by former police officer and current gang leader named Barbecue Against Western Control. What? It makes everything plausible. What's terrifying, that if it's true, it proves that Democrats plan the demise for nations decades in advance. There you go. She takes them out. Soros takes them out. Allegedly. And all of those missing children in Haiti. The Clinton Foundation. Do a deep dive. Clinton, Soros, Haiti, and you're going to find a lot of bad stuff. That's all breaking. So let's see right now. Chaos during a planned invasion, a planned Biden-Obama invasion at the U.S. southern border. Chaos in Afghanistan as the United States leaves, kills our own servicemen in the process because of our recklessness, arms all sorts of bad people instead of us taking our own equipment with us. You know, that's like, I'm taking my basketball and I'm going home. Well, why didn't we take our military goods in Afghanistan if we were leaving? No, we wanted to give it to the bad people. Okay. You got chaos in Gaza. Everything was cool under President Trump's Abraham Accords. He had crafted a peace deal. Because for all of the people that President Trump's going to be this, he's going to be reckless, he's going to get us into World War III. It's like, hold on, shut up. What's his track record say? At least we got 4 years of it now. You've got chaos popping off in the Hong Kong, China, Taiwan area right now. Rumors are that China's going to try to take back their territory. You got Afghanistan, a complete debacle. The U.S. southern border, a complete debacle. And none of that is even mentioning Gaza, the explosion, the awful attacks that disrupted the peace brought on by Trump in the Abraham Accords. It's like there's characters of chaos, demons on this planet, who only live like blood from a vampire. They only live to see misery. The Tool song, I live to watch things die from a good, safe distance. Vicariously, I live while the whole world dies. You all need it too, don't lie. Constantly reminded of that prescient lyric from Maynard James Keenan of Tool about the human condition, the human psyche. So, yet another reason to worry our ass off about the border, because we are being imploded intentionally by Biden and the Obama regime from behind the scenes. So we got our work cut out for us. If you've stayed out of politics for a while, this is the year to get back in. Talk to a few more of your friends that you've, probably haven't talked to for a while. I tried. It didn't go well with my libertarian friend. He's just, I don't know, black pilled or something, or perfect pilled. Black pilled is where you say nothing matters, everything's falling to crap, why should I care? Perfect pilled is like, my ideas are pristine and no candidate comes even close to sniffing the farts that escape my colon. Therefore, I will not waste a vote on any of these two major party losers. They're all the same party, two wings of the same dirty bird. And I would normally agree if it's Biden and McCain, Biden, Romney, Obama, McCain, Obama, Romney, Bush, Clinton, just mix them all together. Kerry, they're all the same swamp rat. But I do contend that President Trump is different. I do. I do contend that a vote for President Trump would be a middle finger to whatever plan this is that buries countries decades in advance. So I want to thank you for watching today's episode of the Agree to Disagree show. If you like what we're doing and want to support independent journalism, we have a site on patreon.com/thenewamericanmedia. I think you got an option to, sign up to donate $5 a month to us. It's like that PBS fund. That would be awesome. I think we have a Netflix fund. I think we call it a Notflix fund, where it's like $15.98 or whatever it is. So it's for the price of Netflix. You can support independent journalism. I think we have a $100 a month tier. And I think we have a $10,000 a month gold journalism tier. You've heard of yellow journalism. Well, if you approve of gold journalism and you got some funds and you got more money than you got time, let us keep fighting for you. But we need some of those funds. Trust me, it's been a busy week at the New American Media headquarters. We're doing a lot of a lot of paperwork, a lot of bookkeeping, a lot of expenditures. This shit ain't free. The thousands of hours that we have dedicated to you, there's a price for it. And I'm okay paying certain prices for things. I believe the soul is eternal, and I want to look my maker in the eye and say, I saw some really bad stuff, and I tried to warn people about it. I said the same to John McAfee when I talked to him, and I'm saying the same thing to you now. I just want to have a conscience saying, I saw bad stuff, and I tried to fix it. I tried to alert people to it, and I tried to guide and steer people along the way. I can pay that price for all the hassle and the opportunity cost. Every hour I spend doing this is an hour I can't spend doing other things, potentially more lucrative things. So if any of you are out there appreciate the New American Media, go to patreon.com/the New American Media and become a monthly sponsor. $10 a month, $1,000 a month, $100 a month, $5 a month, whatever. It's all appreciated. But I fully expect some shenanigans for this year's election cycle. So I encourage you not to just follow us in the normal places, which is youtube.com/the New American Media, because that's like 13 years and 1,400 episodes. Also find us on Odyssey, Odyssee. That's a backup. Everything we put on YouTube goes onto Odyssey. Do I have a Venmo? I don't have. Thank you for that question, by the way. Let me see if I can set up a business Venmo. I don't know that it got weird with PayPal because then they started trying to charge you as a business and taking fees and stuff. So I got to see about Venmo. I don't know the answer to that, but I wrote it down. Venmo, biz. I'll put a star by that on my to-do list. Thank you for that. But yeah, so we're on youtube.com/the New American Media, and we're on Odyssey, and we're also on Rumble, the New American Media. So those are the 3 video platforms that we have. Kind of the texting platforms. I mean, I guess X has evolved into more, but we're at American_media_. And American_media_ Blake is at TV's Blake Walley. Subscribe to both of us, like it. Hit the notification bell on the YouTube channels and stuff. All of it, if you just let videos play, we make some ad money on Rumble. Trying to get remonetized on YouTube. They took that away because they didn't like what we were doing. But we also have Truth Social, the New American Media. Find us on Truth Social, the New American Media. We're on Signal. That's a backup to Telegram. Signal is TNAM and TNAM Chat, or TNAM Official and TNAM Chat. On Telegram, that's our backup to Facebook. That's TNAM for the New American Media and TNAM Chat. On Facebook, we have a page, the New American Media, and a group. You got to type in exactly, quotation marks, capital TNAM, apostrophe, lowercase s, the Agree to Disagree Show. TNAM's the Agree to Disagree Show. That's how you find us there. And it's a private group. So they'll say, how did you find this private group? And you would say, yes, please click the hearts and the hundreds and the like buttons right now while I'm talking, all of those. But yeah, find the private group. We are active on Facebook, but I fully expect us to be deleted from there again, like they did during the last election cycle, because they are monsters. On Instagram, we have the New American Media page. Follow us there. And TNAM Official. I think that's more for breaking news and like big news stories. Finally, Spotify, the new podcast. It's the Agree to Disagree Show. Of course, that's what you're listening to now. And the other one is called the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. So there is that. That's our sports show. It's big for the free agency market. If I get the time, I got a couple things I need to take care of. But if I do have the time, I would love to do an NFL show tonight. So keep your eyes peeled because we will go live on the YouTube and on Facebook and get those alerts on X and what have you. So anyway, I want to thank every one of you for joining us today. Special thanks to Blake Walley and Dreamer and Kenneth and everybody else. Frankie in the comments section. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. Ursa Bruin as well. How are you? Make sure that I got to everything. I think we did. So signing off. I appreciate you. I love you. And we'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Peace.